Welcome back to Coffee with Mia. Today we're going to talk about a phrase that people usually say with disappointment. It is what it is. But you know what? I want to talk about this phrase a little differently. Because sometimes those 5 little words aren't weakness. They are freedom. And honestly, a person becomes very dangerous once they fully accept it is what it is. Not dangerous in a loud way, not bitter, not revengeful, not dramatic. They become dangerous because they stop wasting energy fighting reality. And once that happens, well, everything changes. And let's be honest, we've all been in this situationship. The one where deep down you already know the truth. But your emotions keep trying to negotiate with reality. You keep hoping maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll finally communicate. Maybe next week will feel different. Maybe if I explain myself just one more time. No. Sometimes the signs are already clear. And the exhausting part, a lot of the time your intuition knew before your mind accepted it. And that's why acceptance seems so uncomfortable at first. Because acceptance means you no longer live in potential. You have to live in reality. And let me tell you something. The moment a person accepts reality, their energy changes. Calmly, quietly, permanently. Because now they're no longer trying to convince someone to choose them, understand them, value them, respect them, show up consistently. They stop auditioning. And honestly, that right there is the dangerous part. Because when someone stops chasing, they become harder to manipulate. When someone stops over-explaining, they become harder to control. When someone stops forcing connections, they finally see clearly. And clarity changes people. And what's interesting is that real acceptance usually isn't dramatic. It's not saying to yourself, I hate everybody. I'm done forever. Nobody can be trusted. No. Real acceptance sounds more like, okay, I understand now. Message received. That's it. And once someone reaches that point, the emotional chaos starts leaving their body because they stop arguing with reality. And honestly, a lot of suffering comes from arguing with reality. Trying to make someone become what they already showed you they aren't. Trying to force consistency out of inconsistency. Trying to force honesty out of dishonesty. Trying to force effort out of someone who's comfortable with giving the bare minimum. And at some point, peace comes from seeing clearly. Peace doesn't come from forcing things. And now, here's the part no one talks about. Acceptance is actually empowering Because once you say, it is what it is, you stop draining yourself emotionally. You stop obsessing. You stop spiraling. You stop trying to decode people who are already speaking through their actions. And suddenly, you have energy again. You have mental clarity again. You have self-respect again. And you have all of this because your focus returns to your life, your peace, your healing, your standards, and your future. And you know what? That shift scares people sometimes because they were comfortable with the version of you that kept chasing clarity, not the version of you that quietly accepted the truth and moved forward. So maybe saying it is what it is isn't such a sad thing after all. Maybe it's emotional maturity. Maybe it's self-respect. Maybe it's finally realizing you cannot force people to become someone that you'd hoped they'd be. And maybe, just maybe, the most powerful thing a person can do is to peacefully accept reality without losing themselves in the process. This has been Coffee with Mia, and as always, I thank you for spending your time with me. And always remember, life is not easy, but it's worth it. I'll see you in the next episode.